Hey everybody, this is Miss Lindsay at 1502 School Age Center, and I'm here to help you make a fun arts and crafts project at home. For this project, you will need some colorful construction paper. You can also use white paper if that's what you have. We need some paint, would be best, or you can use markers, anything that's going to give you some bright colors. You'll need some glue. You can either use a glue stick or some Elmer's glue, and some pencils and pens, something that's got a nice black bold color for our outlines. You also need some scissors, so you want to make sure to get all these crafts together before you start making the project. Now we're going to be focusing on how to make a picture that highlights the helpers that we see in our community every day. With regards to what's going on in the world right now, sometimes the best way to feel better about things is to find the people who are helping to make things better and saying thank you. And this is a great way to show that and to have some fun making some art at the same time. So the first step is that you're going to find a person that you want to be the focus of this art project. So it needs to be someone that you see as helping in our community right now, or in the world too. So this could be somebody that you want to highlight as a hero. It could be somebody really close to you, like your mom or your dad. It can be your teachers. It could be a doctor or somebody in the army that you see. You just have to decide who you want to be the focal person first. And then you need to find something about them that is really easy to distinguish. That way, because we're going to draw them out. And you need something that is going to jump out, even if you make them very simple, that people will know who that is. So if you draw a doctor, maybe they have a lab coat. If you draw your mom, maybe she's got a special sweater that she always wears. You just want to make sure it's something very easy to distinguish. All right? So once you've got that person in your mind, what we're going to do is draw them out on our construction paper. Okay, so now if you just have white paper, what you can do is pick a really bold color and either use marker or paint and color in after you've drawn your person. So they can be really simple. The person that I made, as an example, which I'll show you in a minute, is really super simple. They don't even have eyes. But if you want, you can get very specific. You can do a certain hairstyle, you can do their whole outfit, whatever you need to do to distinguish them. And then you're going to color them one color. So if you're using construction paper, you need to pick the color that you like first before you start drawing them. But then we're going to cut them out too. So here's my person that I made as an example. I made a nurse because I have a lot of friends who are nurses. And I tried to make one that looks like a very specific friend so I can show her, hey, I appreciate you. I think you're a hero. And so you can see I've got her hair cut just right. I've got a little mask. I've got her stethoscope that she's got on and her scrubs. But I didn't put a lot of other defining details. But it's really up to you as to how detailed you want. You just want them to know that it's about them. Okay? And I've also got her in like a power pose because we're going to make these people look kind of like superheroes. So I've got her fist in the air. But you could have them with their arms like this, like they're super strong. Whatever you need to do to show that they're, I don't know, beyond epic, that they're awesome. So once you've got your person all drawn out, you've got them painted, or using your construction paper, or you're using markers too, whatever you've got available, then you're going to try to cut them out and make sure that you get all the other paper colors off. Okay? You just want them to be a shape. Yeah? Got it? So now the next step is we're going to make a city skyline. Because when you have, I don't know, a comic book or a movie where you've got a superhero, a lot of times you see them up on top of the buildings and they look larger than life. They look amazing. And so we're going to make a city, okay? And it sounds complicated, but it's really not. So you're going to take a really dark piece of paper, would be best if you have black. If you don't, you can use white paper and just color it in black. Yeah, or dark. You could do blue, but darker the better. And you're going to make some shapes. Just over and over again, little rectangles, big rectangles, fat rectangles, pointy things. If you want to use a specific city, you can go and Google some pictures of skylines and try to copy it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make it look like there's some little buildings overlapping each other. Yeah? Just like that. Now, once you've got them all drawn out, the next step is to paint them or, again, color them in. And we want to make them super dark, okay? As dark as you can get them. This is the next step. Kind of cool looking, huh? So the darker this is, the next part is to put little windows. And that's where you're going to use like a yellow paint or yellow marker, something very, very bright so that it looks like those lights are shining and it's nighttime. Okay? Now, the trick, this is probably the hardest part of this project, is that when you make the spots for the windows, you want them to be lined up so they're kind of straight. The spots don't all have to be perfect. Like if you notice, some of mine are kind of drippy, some of them are circles, but they all go in a straight line based on where I thought those buildings ought to be. There's teeny tiny lights for one far away, there's some big lights for ones that are closer, but they're all in a row. Also, there's some lights that are turned off. Not everybody's got their lights on at the same time, right? I know we're all home right now together, but we don't all have our lights on in the middle of the night. So you're gonna skip some windows. Sometimes you'll have a dot and sometimes there'll be an empty spot. That person's asleep, okay? So this is the part where you need to have a place at your table or your workstation that you can let this sit for a minute, because with all this paint, you're gonna need to let it dry, because the next step is to cut it out. And if you try to cut it while it's wet, you're gonna get it all over your fingers and it's gonna get smeared. So you gotta let it sit for a minute, okay? Give it like 5 minutes at least, 10 minutes maybe, before you come back and do the cutting out. So then you're gonna go around your city just like the person, and you're gonna try to cut as close as you can right on that skyline so that you don't have any of that back color showing, okay? The more complicated you make it, the harder it is gonna be to cut out these little pieces, but it's worth it. It looks super cool if you make a bunch of pointy buildings or domes, right? You gotta have this dome architecture, anything that you wanna throw into your city. So now the next thing, you wanna find a third piece of paper, something that you want to be the background, okay? And this is gonna be the sky, but you need it to be a different color than your person. Because if I put a blue background, sky's blue. If I put this little blue nurse on a blue sky, nobody's gonna see her. She's not gonna jump out. You need a contrasting color, okay? And I know a lot of us talked about using the color wheel to try to find complementary colors. Think about that when you're picking your background color, because you want everything to go together well. So if you've got yellow lights and a blue person, maybe an orange sky, something that looks good together. And you might swap it out before you glue everything. Just kind of lay this on there. You're gonna lay your city and lay your person and see if it looks good before you start to glue it down. Yeah? So the next step is actually getting out that glue stick. You're gonna coat the back of your person. I mean, just completely make them sticky, because you don't want little arms or something sticking out. You want a lot of glue, okay? And then you're gonna splap them right down on your paper. Now I made a couple of them just to show different types of heroes. I've got a person that works at a grocery store. I put a teacher. I put somebody trying to find like a cure. See, for the pandemic, he's got his little needle right there. And I put like a farmer, because nobody ever thinks about the farmers that bring all the food in. So these are my heroes. So I made a lot of them. But then you lay the person down, get them all sticky, lay them on your paper, and then you're gonna lay your city right on top of them. So if you make a nice long picture, you're gonna need a long cityscape to go along the bottom. And you wanna get right on the edge of your paper, so there's no gap, all right? You wanna cover up the bottom. And this makes it look like those heroes are larger than life. They are just sticking straight out there, right? Now, the next step, if you want to, if you like it like this, you can leave them that way. I think they look cool. It looks like a comic book. It looks like a cartoon. It looks great. But you can add an extra step that would make them look more like a superhero. Maybe you could give them a cape, or maybe you could put a sign up in the sky like Batman shoots up that says, you know, hey, we're calling for medics, we need somebody. And you could put like some sort of symbol that's their symbol. If it's your mom, I don't know, maybe you could add something that you always call her for help, or a teacher, like an apple, whatever you need to do. But it all goes back to who it is that you want to recognize as a hero. So you make them look bigger than anything standing in the city. And then you put their special symbol or their cape, something that makes them, everybody know that you think they're super. And then you can add something at the top that says, I'm recognizing a teacher because I think Miss So-and-so is doing a great job helping me at home. Whoever you want, you just write it right at the top, okay? And then if you like, you can have your parents take a picture and upload it here onto YouTube so that we can show everybody, okay? Just make sure to put your name on it What do I always say? Put your name on it. That way we know who made it, and let the parents let us know, so that we can show it to each other. Because we don't have a classroom to come to right now. But this is a great way we can show each other our art that we're making at home. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to comment. But I think we have most of these arts and crafts projects at home, the raw materials that we need, and I'm really excited to see what you make.